Rev up your engines!
Well, I was seriously wondering about the quality of the Ford Mavericks because they're all made in Mexico. Well, here's something that's telling me maybe it's not so great. Alex Perry writes and says, Scotty, I bought a 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid in 2021 and had problems with the paint chipping, a random death wobble, intermittent check engine light. The dealer says there was nothing wrong in the hybrid powertrain. 6 recalls that I had to get done. And when I used my remote start from the Ford app, it would run rich and make a horrible sulfur smell coming into the tailpipe. And the catalytic converter would glow red hot. Dealer said, they couldn't find anything wrong with it. So I decided to trade it in a 21 Toyota Corolla and actually made money on it. Thought you'd want to warn viewers about buying these trucks, as many are paying well over for sticker for these junkers. Your catalytic converter's glowing red and it stinks, the exhaust, the sulfur smell, right? There's something wrong, is right. And then, we can't find anything wrong, said the Ford dealer. They don't want to fix anything for free, right? It's under warranty, right? And anything with a catalytic converter, that's got a warranty of ages and ages. I don't know, it's 150,000 miles or something, 7 or 10 years now. It's a long time. And this is a 2022, right? But I guess when I said, hey, let's see what happens as they roll down the road, well, this guy wasn't happy. Mark, he just said, hey, I got rid of this thing, got a Toyota Corolla. I had it with all the crap in this thing. Luckily, people want the Maverick still, so he sold it for more than he paid for it. So he got lucky on that one, right? But eventually, everyone's going to figure out they're clunkers and they're not going to buy the thing. So watch out. I'm always leery about stuff made in Mexico. I don't care what anybody says. They can BS all they want. They don't pay those guys much down there, and the quality just isn't up to snuff. It just isn't. The only ones that I see are close are like the Toyotas that are made down there. Most of the Tacomas I see made in Mexico are still put together pretty well. In the case of these Ford Mavericks, it doesn't look like they are made all that well in Mexico. My name is Deleted says, that's a good name. Has anyone ever bought bad gas? I've heard of degraded underground gas stations leaking rainwater into the supply. I bet contaminated gas and neglected underground tanks at stations probably happen in a bunch of states. How do you know if you have bad gas? How frequent is it? Okay, well, it's not that frequent these days for one main reason. Ages ago, by law in the United States, they had to get rid of all the steel gas tanks that were just steel, dig them up, and put in fiberglass impregnated ones so that they don't rust and rot and then groundwater gets in them. So it's not that common anymore. It's relatively uncommon, right? Now, here's how you can tell if you got bad gas. And it's very, very simple. Once you squirt the new gas in the tank with the old gas, it mixes up almost instantly. So you got bad gas, you just poured it in. It's mixed up. The only thing you got in your car that isn't mixed is the fuel from the fuel pump in the line to the fuel injectors, right? And that's a tiny amount of fuel. So you get bad gas, you start your car up. You won't make it more than maybe a block or 2 or 3. Then the regular gas you already have is burnt through the lines, and then all the new gas has gone through, and if it's bad gas, it will start acting up within a block or 2 or 3. Then it starts running like crap. Then you know, yes, you got bad gas. If you fill it up with gas, and a couple days later, it starts running bad, odds are you don't have bad gas, because it's going to happen almost immediately, because it's all mixed up. Once you get rid of that bit that's in the fuel pump and the injectors in the line, then you're on the new gas, it's all mixed up, and if you got a problem with it, it's going to show up then. That's the absolute easiest way to tell if you got bad gas. Well, here's another tale of woe from a GM owner. Jonathan Castig says, Scotty, my 2013 Chevy Sonic with a 1.4 turbo and manual transmission was the biggest piece of crap I ever owned in my life. 50,000 miles, it started falling apart and the transmission gave out and had to be replaced. I fixed so many things, I gave up and got rid of it. It didn't even last 75,000 miles, and I didn't even get $4,000 for a trade-in when I got rid of it. I'll never buy anything GM. Off to Toyota for me. The Chevy Sonic, yes, that is one of the worst vehicles they ever made. Now, the Chevy Sonic is an interesting vehicle because it is the only subcompact vehicle actually made in the United States. They make it in Michigan, but they don't make them very well. They're rolling piles of crap. Let's face the facts. Americans never learned how to make subcompact cars. Look at the Pinto, a dismal failure. Look at the Vega, a dismal failure. I mean, Americans just aren't into making tiny cars. They want big monstrosities. Used to be big station wagons, big giant Cadillacs, right? Well, now it's SUVs and big trucks, right? Still big. Americans are not into making small things. That's just the way that it goes. And you get something like those Sonics. I mean, geez, those things were absolute rolling piles of crap. And he had a manual transmission and it broke. You think they could at least make a manual transmission? It's simple, right? But even that broke when it had a few miles on it. Well, I just watched a video from my old friend, an engineer, and explained, and he says, you should recharge your EV after every trip, even if it's a short one. You don't leave it at 100% though. They tell you, do it to 80% and then stop, because the last 20 is harder to get and it's a pain in the butt. And that's one of the reasons, if you had an electric car, you'd want to recharge it every day up to 80% and stop. You're not going to go 80 to 100. It takes longer. This is also another reason to show why most Americans aren't going to buy an electric car. Every day you got to maintain your electric car. They don't want that kind of a headache. They don't want their electric car to be like their cell phone where you got to plug it in every night, right? It's too much hassle for most people. And he gives 3 tips. Jason knows what he's doing, right? Don't store an EV at high temperature with a full battery. Don't wait until the battery dies to recharge. And don't routinely charge to 100%. It shows they're even a bigger pain than what you think. You think, okay, I got range anxiety, right? Well, right there, don't charge to 100%. Charge to 80%, so you've lost 20% of your range right off the bat. And that's before it's either too cold outside or too hot and you're running the AC, and that's going to take a lot of energy out of your battery. These things are not made for the average American. Now, he owns an electric car, but hey, he's an engineer, you know? Engineers like messing with stuff like that, right? That's what they do for a living. The average American, they don't want to deal with that crap. They want to fill their car with gas, drive it a whole bunch of time, and then fill it up again when they need to. And they want to spend 4 or 5 minutes putting gas in, and that's it. They don't want to have to precondition their battery in their car before they take it out when it's cold outside. Let's face the facts. The average American, it doesn't fit in with their lifestyle. And when it comes to American lifestyles, Americans never want to change their lifestyles, right? For a while, when cities were really going and then they started to deteriorate, what did Americans do? Well, we like our freedom and open space. Well, we'll move to the suburbs. So they did move to the suburbs. Then, when people are taxed too much in California and New York, they're moving to places like Tennessee and Texas, right? Their lifestyle is more important than trying to fit it into some government scheme of, oh, electricity is going to save us all, right? And the funniest thing is, politicians, well, this is going to save people a lot of money making electric cars and buying them. Oh, you want it to buy gasoline, blah, blah. What a load of horse manure. Every place I've seen, they keep raising the price of electricity, right? If everybody drove an electric car, I guarantee you they'd raise it even higher, right? They got you by the short and curlies then. So, people say, well, you can charge your car with your electric solar panels. Yeah, you know how long it would take to charge your car with electric solar panels? And even then, if the price of electricity went up, guess what? The price of solar panels would go up too, because people would say, oh, people want them. Let's raise the price of them. My son looked at stuff like that on the East Coast, and this was right when the pandemic started, and he thought, maybe I should do some of this solar energy stuff, right? Then he found out they were charging so much more than they used to because the government was giving a subsidy. So the people who were installing them and selling them just raised the price so they can make even more money. It's a capitalist society, you know, and if you think what goes today is going to be the same as what goes tomorrow, when things start changing, as people use something more, they'll raise the price, especially if it's something like electricity that most people aren't going to generate their own. They're going to buy it from the power company, right? Well, here's a warning. Don't follow Teslas too closely, because a motorcyclist rear-ended a Tesla, and the reason is suspected to be from phantom braking from the Tesla. The rider died at the scene here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Just starting to brake themselves for no reason. They're not warning the people behind because the lights aren't coming on. The brake lights aren't coming on. Yet more electric technology that doesn't work, and the guy very well could be dead in Tennessee here because he smashed into a Tesla that for some reason just decided to brake in the middle of the highway, and boom, which actually is a very good warning for everybody out there. Don't tailgate people. Hey, when I'm back on the East Coast, they call them asshole drivers because they do. They gram right up to somebody's tail, right? If you're far enough away from the guy in front of you, even if their brake lights don't work, you'll notice you're getting too close, and then you hit your brakes, slow down, or change lanes, right? Tailgating is just plain stupid. People are just so wrapped up in their own little world, and they're in a hurry that they tailgate people. Let's say the vehicle in front of you is a Tesla. It starts braking, you won't have enough time to react. But if you're back far enough, you can say, hey, that thing's getting closer. I better slow down, right? That's one thing my father taught me when I was learning how to drive. He said, always scan ahead. He never got in any wrecks. As far as I know, he's never been in an accident in his life. He's long gone now. now, but he didn't have anything on his driver's license, and I've never remembered any of his cars ever getting smashed up. So you really do have to look ahead when you're driving. And if you see a Tesla, maybe slow down or get in the other lane or something. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.